Yo guys, what is going on? Blossoms back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. And today we've got another pack that we want to review. It is indeed another collection pack. It is indeed Sara's collection. You know, at this point, when they're done with all the bosses, I think there are only like 3 more bosses that they've not done, and that's Lady Blackwood, that's Legrand, and probably one other person. Or these might actually be the last 2. I know, they've not done the other Japanese woman. Yeah, so at least 3 that I've not done. But by the time they've completed all of this, I want to do a tier list of tier lists. I want to do a tier list of every single boss collection that we've had. And, you know, we're going to find out which truly was the worst. I don't think any of them brought a good selection of cars. And I don't think that was the intention of the game as well. I don't think that any of these boss collections were going to bring, you know, a good selection of cars. But, you know, I do want to compare every single one at the end of the day to find which is genuinely the worst. Has Filberto gotten a collection yet? I'm not sure, actually, if this guy's got his collection. But anyway, Sara's collection is around the corner. You can go and open the pack right now. And obviously, we're going to review the pack as well. So this is everything in its entirety before I put them in their places. Again, you know, this is the blueprint that we tend to see of a lot of these collection challenges, where the prize car isn't the best thing in the world. The cars that you need to use to win it aren't the best thing in the world either. But it's kind of like, it kind of gives us players something to do, something to work towards, I guess. Honestly, you know, if I was a beginner player, I wouldn't really care much about these challenges. I would probably finish like the first 2 or 3 chapters, see how far you can go, and then leave it there. I wouldn't invest in any of these cars to go even further. Just go as far as you can with the cars you already have. That's what I would say if you were a beginner player going into this. You know, how I treat it on my Golems account is basically, you know, let's say that, for example, my Golems account, I just happen to already own a TT, and I already happen to own like a Porsche Taycan 4S, just hypothetical. Then I will just use them and see how far they can get me in challenges. I won't even bother upgrading them or anything like that. I'll just see how far I can go. But if you're an intermediate player, advanced player, then yeah, this kind of gives you something to do, doesn't it? Anyway, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the Volvo XC90. I think you guys know the tiers by now, right? Dirk Kaiser, rightly rated, requires some criteria, special tag, challenge, and Robin's Wonders World plus or minus 3 RQ. The Volvo goes straight at the bottom rank. Never used it, ever, until today. And this is a car that has been in the game since, I want to say, the start, or very close to it. And yeah, it's just a car that I never use until today. Maybe now I am using it in like a couple of levels in the challenges. Like we just had the, I think which level was it? If you go into challenges, the one that we just completed, which I do believe is chapter 5. Yeah, I think chapter 5. 7 has started. Oh, I didn't even know that. Chapter 7 has already started. Okay, so yeah, chapter 6. So in chapter 6, and this one, I guarantee you, I know that I'm not going to pass this. I just know I'm not going to pass this. I don't think I have enough. Yeah, probably not. I mean, the double K works might be useful, but yeah, I did use this in level 5 just a little bit, you know, when, you know, some of the tracks were all sand or all off-road, but that was about it. It's still a really bad car, and I'm waiting for it to go down to a super rare. It's the same thing for the Subaru Legacy. This thing is on borrowed time right now. I mean, it's 87 handling, 4-wheel drive, and medium ground clearance, which, you know, on paper you might think it's not that bad, but honestly, you know, ask yourself, when was the last time you actually used the Subaru Legacy RS, especially, you know, when it compares to every other Subaru that it competes with. You know, they're all medium ground clearance, they're all 4-wheel drive. It's a dime a dozen, and honestly it needs to go down in my opinion. The BMW 320i Touring, this one's an interesting one. I want to see where it stands, because honestly I don't think that car is too bad. Does it deserve to be a 49? Does it deserve to be a super rare? That's the question. You know, rear wheel drive, let's go into rear wheel drive, ultra rare, standard tires, medium ground clearance. Let's go to the end, because it handles decently, right? Look at its competition: 82, 83, 80, 79, 83, 83, 81, 82, 83, 82, 80, 81, 83, 81, and boom, you got 86, which honestly isn't that terrible. Yes, the 0 to 60 is the weakest one there, but it doesn't matter, you know? Like when it comes to a rear-wheel drive entire car, you're not going to put it on the drag. If you really wanted to, you'd be using like the Maybach. Anyway, where is it? Yeah, the Maybach, this one, you'd be using this. So, and honestly, if I needed to use an RQ50 rear-wheel drive entire car for the drag, I would I would most likely go for the E4 for 430. I would usually go for the W210. Maybe you can make an argument for the Lincoln Continental. So I think that there are some cars where I feel like, you know, they can stay. And I think the BMW can stay as an RQ50. I don't think it deserves to go down to a Super Rare. The cars that deserve to go down to a Super Rare would be things like the Roof R56, for example. Or maybe even the Holden Caprice. Or the Infiniti Q45. So cars like those. So, yeah, I'm going to say record a special tag challenge. I think it can stay at 50. Just not that useful. But 86 handling, you know what? I see your game. I see your game. It's not a lot, but I see it. Okay, next one. Audi A4 Avant 2.0. Oh man, I'm gonna ever so slightly think I'll put it with the BMW as well. I think that they are just ever so slightly RQ50s. They can stay there. Obviously, you won't be using them that much, but it requires a special tag challenge for sure. Actually, the Audi A4, I'll move it up one even because there are not a lot of front-wheel drive center tire ultras you can use. So when you think about clubs, for example, and I'm always thinking about clubs, let's be honest, because, you know, this is where your cash cows are going to be. There are not a lot of options for you to choose from. You've got the A4 Avant, which I do believe it's also an estate. So it has that extra niche because most of these rear-wheel drive center tire cars are saloons or even a coupe, right? This is a coupe. There you go. This is a saloon. This is a hatchback. Actually, there's a nice array. This is a saloon, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. So honestly, I think the A4 is decent. 5.183 compared to, you know, the A3 is 5.384. This handles better though. This 5.083. Yeah, I think it's okay in my opinion. And obviously, these videos are always in my own opinion. I think the A4 requires some criteria. Mainly because it serves that cash cow purpose in clubs a little bit more than, you know, the 320i, for example. Honestly, being a rear-wheel drive center tire car is just unlucky, bro. Because, like, no matter what, even in clubs, you're not going to stand out as long as the caterhams exist. So it'd be like that. You know, the front-wheel drive center tire cars, you don't really need to compete with that, you know, caterham dominance. I mean, yes, the Acura RSX is better, and obviously you have the Acura RSX Type S, which is definitely going to be better, but it all makes sense within RQ. These two cars are better than the Audi A4. But for example, the Caterham, which is like a super rare, is better than the BMW 320i. So like you're never gonna, you know, you get what I mean. Caterham's just more of a bargain. Buick Vista is up next. I want to say it requires some criteria. It is a decent Buick. I know that's not saying much, but it is indeed a decent Buick. It's 90 handling when you fully upgrade it, 4.20 to 60, I believe, something along those lines. I feel like in a Buick event or some kind of American event where you need to use like just low RQ ultra rares in general that handles pretty well, the Vista will get the job done. And in my opinion, I think it's an okay car. The Holden Adventura, whatever it's called, this thing, it's not great. I'm gonna put it in Robin's wondrous world of plus and minus through RQ. But then again, I guess I can't put it there because if it went down, it could go down 3RQ. It could have gone to 50, and the fact that it didn't go to 50 means that it shouldn't be at 50. I don't think it should be at 50, to be honest. I guess it's a special tag challenge kind of car. Not the worst thing in the world, but it ain't great. And honestly speaking, I've unpacked that car twice, and it really annoys me because I think I've only opened 2 carbon fibers from Sara's collection so far. And both of them have been the same car, and it kind of grinds my gears. I think I have both of them still, actually. Yeah, there you go. Both of these cars just chilling there. The one thing about the Adventura that is okay is that it weighs under 2,000 kilograms. And when you think about, you know, these kind of... it's classified as an estate, though, isn't it? Yeah, if you think about all surface tire four-wheel drive cars that are SUVs, they're usually heavier than that, usually. So this one's a little bit lighter, but then again, it's not an SUV. It's an estate. But still, it carries that four-wheel drive all-surface tire niche. So it will be competing with a lot of those SUV cars regardless. Now moving on, BMW 640D, that's up next. 87 handling, yeah. Used to be a pretty decent ultra back in the day, and when I mean back in the day, I kind of mean like 2017. Now it's more of a special tag challenge kind of car. Same thing for the Mercedes SLK 32. It's a special tag challenge kind of car. The Skoda Octavia, oh my. I mean, it's the same thing as the Holden Adventura, but worse. It's 3 RQ more, and the only difference, I believe, is the 0 to 60, and I would say that the Octavia is lighter, but how much lighter? That's the question. That's very light, but that's also fully upgraded, so I'm gonna need to find... 1.9 was that Holden, so this is probably like 1.5? Okay, so it's a lot lighter. But is it worth 3 RQ more? It's gonna make that difference on like a slalom. Yes, I get, not on slalom. It's gonna make that difference on like a snow kind of environment. I get that. It is a better car. I'll put them in the same place. That is a very lightweight car, to be fair. All right, BMW 330e Touring. That's up next. AC5 handling. Oh man, remember when this thing was like 63 RQ? That was stupid. Definitely Robin's Wonders World of plus and minus when it was 63 RQ. Now that it has gone down to 57, I think it's just a special tag challenge kind of car. Honestly, the majority of the cars are gonna fall under special tag challenge, aren't they? Because this is a special tag challenge. There's no other reason why you would use them anyway. Audi TT Quattro. I'm going to put that in rightly rated. Yes, one of the better Audis, I would say. It doesn't have that medium ground clearance over inflation. It still has that four-wheel drive over inflation, but the medium ground clearance one, it doesn't have that anymore. And honestly speaking, that four-wheel drive inflation isn't as prominent as it used to be. I use this car a lot. I genuinely use the Audi TT Quattro a lot for one reason or another. I don't know why I said another so weirdly. I forgot how to say the R for example. But yeah, I have 3 of these fully upgraded, one of which is even drag spec. And yeah, for some reason, Hutch loves this car. I use it a lot. What is it? Okay, 126 races in 261 days. That's 126. This is 122, and this is the drag spec version, 18. Okay. Well, it feels like I use it a lot. And obviously I had to go drag spec on it for a special tag challenge, right? So this isn't the first time. It's not its first rodeo, and it probably isn't going to be its last. Like I said, as far as Audis go, ultra Audis, one of the better ones. I think it's rightly rated. Aston Martin Vantage, I would say, requires a special tag challenge. MRA isn't the worst. It's okay. Top speed is very high, but we're not in, we're not living in 2020 anymore. Great Exhibition wasn't the newest update, and unfortunately it's become a lot less useful. I use it a lot less now. I do have, I think, 2 fully upgraded Vantages, 1 drag spec, 1 not. But the sad reality is I don't use it that often anymore. I used to a lot. Well, actually not even 90 races in over 1,576 days. Maybe this one had more races. Yeah, 251. But think about it. The Audi TT that I just said that I use a lot has about half the amount of races in like 1,300 days less or something like that, even more than that. So yeah, at that trajectory, I think I'll be using the Audi a lot more than I'm using the Aston Martin Vantage. Volvo S60 T6 all-wheel drive, 89 handling, 4-wheel drive, and I do believe it is medium, but the fact that I'm searching it up means that I don't use it all that much. It is medium, yeah, 124 races in 479 days. I think it's okay. I think it just requires some criteria. You can use it in a Volvo event here and there. Audi S4 B7 used to be an Epic. It's dropped down. I don't have a lot of experience with this car. I can see it as a require some criteria kind of car though. The Mirai is great. I'm going to put it in rightly rated. Some people might say that it deserves to be Dirk Kaiser, but does it? Does the Mirai deserve to be Dirk Kaiser still? Because back then the Mirai was dominant, and this is like an OG. I used to own this as an Epic, went down to an Ultra, went back down to an, it used to be an Ultra, then it went up to an Epic, and then went back down to an Ultra, and then went back up to an Epic, then I was back down to an Ultra. I forget what the journey was, but this is a very, very, very old car. I believe I actually won this car because it was a prelim prize. A prelim prize for tier 3. Tier 2 for a very old Tri-Series. I can't remember what. Maybe Dodge Viper GTS, Sara? Maybe. It's a very, very old car though. I've owned it for over 2,000 days and I've used it a lot. And it's going to be a shame that I'm going to be getting rid of this car once I get a new and fresh Mirai. But obviously I want to, well, I could keep it. I don't know. It used to be an, what does this? This counts as an Epic. Yeah, this counts as an Epic. So I can actually put it into a Legend. So yes, I'm going to get rid of the Mirai. But yeah, it used to be an Ultra, like way back when. It's a very old car. But what I'm trying to say is that the Mirai was great back then, but now you have the Buick Wildcat, which is in many ways the new Mirai. 4.581 compared to 5.486. The Mirai still handles better. It is very heavy though. And the Buick Wildcat also is a very heavy car, but obviously we have taken a look at the best ultra rares for every track set. We made a video about that about a month ago at this point, and the Mirai just wasn't as dominant as it used to be. So I don't know if it deserves to be Dirk Kaiser or just a rightly rated car. I'm gonna put it there for now. BMW X5 xDrive, I'm gonna put that in rightly rated as well. The only reason why I'm putting it there is because I remember seeing this car a lot in the top 3 positions in the same video where we talked about the Mirai, where we talked about all the best ultras for every single track set. So honestly speaking, I don't remember what it wins. I just remember it showed up a lot in that video as a top 3 car. That's all. So I'm going to put it as rightly rated. Random Magon, 300 trophy. That's a good one. I'm going to put that as Der Kaiser. It's medium ground clearance, 97 handling. It is a fantastic City Street medium car to use as long as it's dry. Cadillac STSV is up next. I mean, this is just requires some criteria, average, run-of-the-mill kind of car. BMW 520D X-Drive Touring. That's rightly rated. I think that's okay. AT4 handling, 4-wheel drive standard, medium ground clearance, solid. Also, very good looking photo. Then the Skoda Enyaq Coupe, in my opinion, is Der Kaiser. This thing is fantastic. One of the best ultra and tire cars that you can use in the entire game. I believe Twisty Circuit, and some others. Definitely Twisty Circuit, and Twisty Road goes to the red Enyaq. Moving on. Oh, no, one more ultra. The Audi A4 Quattro is pretty damn terrible, honestly. Requires a special tag challenge. Okay, now moving on to the epics. This is Robin's Wondrous World. This is also Robin's Wondrous World. Subaru WRX is the same thing. I'm gonna put that at the bottom. Mercedes-Benz C112. I'm gonna put that in requires a special tag challenge. 911 Targa 4S is Robin's Wondrous World. I think these 4-wheel drive cars still too overrated for me. 718 Cayman S 2.5 requires a special tag challenge. Peugeot Flux. So the thing about the Peugeot Flux is that it's medium ground clearance. And it has the same 0 to 60 as a 4-wheel drive car with low ground clearance of 4.7 seconds. It handles less than the Subaru, for example, but look at the 0 to 60 difference between both the cars as well. Also, not to mention, the Peugeot Flux, if I remember correctly, is really freaking light. And it is useful. It is useful. Why is it not showing up for me? Ultra rare, because it's not an ultra rare. There you go. Very, very lightweight car. 850 kilograms. I'm going to put it in requires some criteria. I have it fully upgraded. I think it's going to be very useful for me in this challenge. More useful than a Subaru WRX, for example. Infiniti Q50 Red Sport 400 requires a special tag challenge, and this is one of those events. The only other time I used my Infiniti Q50 was Christmas collection, which was a special tag challenge. And I do believe a Polo Intenza Emozione JPT, something like that, right? So yeah, I've only used it in special events, and this is no exception. BMW M5, that's up next. I'm gonna say special tag challenge as well. Only thing it has going for it is MRA. BMW X7, oh, this one I'm gonna say requires special tag challenge as well. Escalade V, I'm going to put the Escalade V and require some criteria. It is an American dragster, and it's pretty decent at that as well. MRA is alright. Lotus Evora GT430 Sport, I say requires some criteria. The only reason why I don't want to put it in rightly rated is because there are better Lotuses to use, and even though the Lotus Evora is literally rightly rated, I still think it's a very mid car. So I'm going to put it in requires some criteria. Maybe I should just change rightly rated to something else. Frequent provider could bring that back. Jaguar F-Type is terrible. I'm going to say requires a special tag challenge. And it's even worse. The Jaguar is even worse than the Golf. And the Golf ain't great. The Golf is like 68 MRA. The Jaguar is like, I want to say 80, something along those lines. So it's a bit more of a dragster. But the 0 to 60 is terrible. The handling is terrible. And it's just one of the worst legends when it used to be a legend. So honestly, I think the F-Type is terrible. Special tag challenge. Golf ain't great either, but I will openly admit that the Golf is better than the F-Type. When you fully upgrade that, at least the 0 to 60 is like 3.1, but it is 94, which isn't great. It really, okay, where I rate the Golf really comes down to where I rate the Porsche. The Porsche, in my opinion, is better than both of these two cars. And I want to put the Porsche and require some criteria, but I think the Golf is closer to the Taycan than compared to it being closer to the F-Type. The F-Type is just another level of being absolutely terrible, and I think, honestly speaking, I want to put it in Robin's Wondrous World of plus minus 3 RQ. I think that, you know, Hutch thinks that this car is a little bit of a dragster, that's why it deserves 77. No, I think it should be 75, honestly. So yeah, that's gonna go down, yeah, and then maybe the Golf stays in special tag challenge. That way, it makes sense. 1, 2, 3. Yep, okay. Chevrolet Corvette Z06 C6. That's up next. I want to love this car so bad, but I feel like there hasn't been a lot of opportunity to use it. Even though the MRA is decent, even though the top speed is high, even though it has 100 handling, I just don't see a lot of opportunities, and I've not seen many events prior to this video where this car has really stood out. At the end of the day, if you had to use a Corvette, you would still be using the C8. You would still be using the Corvette Stingray C8. And if you wanted to use a dragster, you would still be using a Z06 Tune, or now even the Corvette GS2. So honestly, I want to love it, but I can't. It's rightly rated at best. Okay, MX-5 GT race car. That's up next. I'm gonna put it in Robin's Wonderful Plus Button 3 RQ, dude. I'm gonna be completely real with you, man. These two cars don't deserve to be in the same stature. Okay, 3034. I get that. Moz is better in that regard, but 89 and 92, 160 to 217. Not to mention the MRI difference on those. Okay, to be fair, I don't know the MR of the Diablo GT2, but I don't think that these two cars should deserve to be in the same rank. I'm gonna bring the Diablo up to require some criteria because you know it's an RQ80. But when you think about where it compares to with all the other Lamborghinis that are RQ80 or 81 or 82, this thing stands out because it's rear-wheel drive. It will beat its four-wheel drive competitors, so I'm going to put it in require some criteria. Porsche 708 Cayman GT4 RS, it's the same thing. I think it's a pretty decent RQ82, but there's nothing special about it. The problem with being a Porsche Legendary now is that there's so many of them, where you really need to stand out to be something special. And the 718 Cayman does enough to be an epic beater if you max out the handling, but nothing more than that. The BMW 7 Series, the 750i X-Drive, four-wheel drive, standard 85 handling. It's good on that one daily, and I think for that reason, I think it requires some criteria. It's already mid. Lamborghini Urus Concept, again, I think it's pretty mid. It has all service tires, four-wheel drive, 91 handling as well, actually. Rightly rated. I'll give it rightly rated. I think it brings more to the table than it does like the 718 or even the 7 Series. Okay, moving on, the Asterion. Is the Asterion the one that has medium ground clearance? I forget. Let me find. If this is the one. No, this is the low ground clearance one. Okay, well, if it's a low ground clearance one, then it requires a special tag challenge. Well, okay, let's not be too harsh about it. I think it requires some criteria, because if you can fully upgrade the handling, it's 97. Honestly, I feel like the threshold, if you're a four-wheel drive car, is to have at least 97 handling. If you have less than that, then definitely you're gonna have an issue. Or even less than 86. Maybe 86 is the bare minimum, right? And then 87 is, you know, it's okay. So you have cars like, you know, the Golf, which is four-wheel drive 85 handling, or like the Jaguar, four-wheel drive 85 handling. Those are the ones that, in my opinion, are definitely useless, especially if they're not outright dragsters. Pagani Zonda HP Barchetta is up next. I love this car, right? It's a one of one, isn't it? And I don't understand why that isn't a prize car. You know how I talk about how some cars don't deserve the prize car tag, while other cars that are not prize cars deserve the prize car tag? The Barchetta, if I remember correctly, it's one of one. It's like blue carbon, and I think only Horatio owns it, I think. But yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful car. I think his son got married in this car, right? Like there was a whole news article about it. Great car, dude. MRI is fantastic. Handling is great. Top speed is high. It's a good legend. Then we've got the Lamborghini Huracan Evo. 99 handling, four-wheel drive performance. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I don't think these two Lambos are the worst thing in the world, but I don't think they're the best either. I'm going to put them in rightly rated. The Koenigsegg, we'll talk about that later. The Ultima Evolution Coupe is Dirk Heiser, in my opinion. But honestly, the Koenigsegg Agera, at most, rightly rates it. It's not a good legend. Again, you got to think about what it compares to. It's a dime a dozen when it comes to Koenigsegg's, and I know this firsthand because, you know, for the Audi R18 final, it was a Koenigsegg final, and I had that one, and it didn't get me top 10. It didn't even get me top 12 because everyone just had a Regera or a Blossig or a Blossig RS. The Agera is just not good enough. Honestly, it's a very mid Koenigsegg legendary as far as Koenigsegg legendaries go. So yeah, it's rightly rated, you know, that's about it. Nothing much to shine about it. But yeah, anyway, guys, that's gonna be it. This is my opinion, once again, of Sara's collection, you know. Most of the stuff are at the bottom, and I would definitely not recommend opening the pack. I will not. What I will suggest is that if you have a little bit of gold left, like I do, just go for like the Nissan Infiniti. Like, just go for the new update at this point. I can only afford one, so I'm only gonna open this one pack. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't bother with Sara's collection. And the prize car is terrible, honestly. The Epic is cool. Don't get my hopes up, please. Do not get my hopes up. I know 58 is the second highest RQ. Yesterday I said that 58 was the highest, but there actually is a 64 RQ Infiniti that you can get. Don't raise my hopes up. My luck this year has been terrible. You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. These on Astral Crawler concept. My second epic. I'm glad I opened it. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight, all